Hey everybody, Howard Varichello here with the Du Bois Dream. I have a special guest with me. Kind of have that W&J connection. Ben Cecchini from Give and Grow Basketball. It's funny as we are talking, kind of off, recording, just all the similarities we have. But I'll let you introduce yourself, mental skills trainer. But I know you don't like the title, so I'll let you kind of talk about Give and Grow and all the stuff you got going on, Ben.
Yeah, so thanks for having me on, Albert. It's great to connect. I see everything that you're doing with the dream, the community that you're building, the way you're giving back and inspiring the kids. Man, I love it, and inspiring the community as well. So it's a beautiful thing. I've loved seeing your journey. So yeah, I'm the founder of Give and Grow Basketball and the main mental skills trainer there. So we've been in action for about 3 years now, ever since I left Under Armour as a footwear engineer and decided that I wanted to spread mindfulness and emotional management skills to kids through basketball. And that's exactly what the mission of Give and Grow is.
Yeah, it's awesome everything that you have going on with Give and Grow, but it's really cool that I think you're taking your story and bringing it into Give and Grow, which means that much more because I knew you when I was at W&J as a football player, and you obviously have that passion for basketball and using that to your advantage. So I don't know if you can kind of talk me through like football, basketball, what made you make that choice for basketball?
Yeah, really, it is. It is really cool how my story is really ingrained in the Give and Grow story, and that going to W&J to play football my freshman year and then switching to basketball sophomore year, it's a story that's replayed in my life over and over again. I chose football because I was a 6'3", 195-pound quarterback, athletic. I was like, man, I can make a solid D3 quarterback or receiver. So I'm going to go to football to play, or I'm going to go to college to play football. And then after that freshman season, I was like, man, I miss basketball. Like, I love basketball. That's my passion. And going out of high school into college, I was like, man, I'm a 6'3", kind of like a forward. So it didn't really make logical sense, but it made so much sense to me in terms of passion. And the same thing was happened when I was at Under Armour. Like, I was really good at being a footwear developer, but it wasn't what I was passionate about. I'm passionate about helping others be the best they can be. So once again, I got to make that switch from what I thought I was going to be good at to what I was passionate about. And that's the space that I'm in now. And I really feel like everything's starting to pick up where I can start to really make this impact with kids, teens, and even adults.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm so impressed with everything that you're building, Ben. And I can tell. I mean, anybody that's going to be watching this is going to feel the passion because I can already feel the passion because I have that same passion for basketball too. I was a baseball guy, but I was just like, I love basketball more. And you're right, it made more logical sense for me to play baseball. But I'm like, it's just something about this game that's going to continue on. And it's funny. What helped my passion grow is similar to what happened with you. And I want you to talk on Ghana a little bit. Was whenever I did my Athletes in Action tour in the Middle East and just seeing that impact. So I don't know if you can talk a little bit about Ghana because I'm sure you use that in your mindfulness with Give and Grow more.
Oh, totally. Yeah. So after 3 years with Under Armour, I decided I didn't know what I wanted to do next, but I knew I wanted to test out being a basketball coach. I always had that in mind that, man, I think I would be a really good coach. And I think I would enjoy it. And I just wanted to slow my world down, which is a common theme since that decision was made to go live in Ghana, just of slowing the world down to make clear and conscious decisions in my life. So it was between Asia, which I had been to a lot through Under Armour, Togo in Western Africa, where they speak French, and Ghana, where they speak English. So I was like, well, I'm going to Ghana because I want to speak English. That's all I know. And so after 3 months of being there, I lived at a soccer academy with about 40, 11 to 18-year-old boys. And I coached at a basketball academy where we had about like 20 to 30 kids ranging mostly like middle school through college even. So it was more of like a elite academy down there. And I just realized, man, this is what I love. I love being on the court. I love being with kids. I have something to share. They're energized by me. They're inspired by me. And that feels great. And I feel like it's helping them out a lot. So I want to stick in this space. And then I just had this, I was actually journaling one day. It was actually a pretty sad day when I was down there. One of the counselors at the soccer academy, who was my age, 26 at the time, 27 maybe, passed away from an unknown heart condition, just like
Oh wow.
right overnight. And and it really inspired me. Like I went and was just writing about it, and I was like, man, I want to inspire people to be the best they can be, because we don't know how long we have here,
Yeah.
and I wanted to use that time wisely. And so that's what I did. I decided to come back and combine my passion for personal development, which turned into my passion for mindfulness and emotional management, with my passion for basketball, and my abilities and gifts that I have in the space to coach and teach and connect with people. And so for the past 3 years, we've been building out Give and Grow to do just that, to be in a space to inspire as many people as possible. And we started off in Baltimore, which is where our headquarters is at. But with everything that's happening with the quarantine,
Yeah.
it's really helping us to expand globally. I mean, last week in our virtual class, we had somebody chime in from Chile in South America, which was phenomenal. It was so tight to have
Yeah.
that person on in the class. And it just feels like everything's coming into alignment right now, even with everything that's going on in the world.
Yeah, it's all that matter of, perspective, what's going on in your mind, and are you going to take advantage of this time? And I love that you are taking advantage of this time. I'm so glad we're able to, hop on the Zoom call just to get that word out there, because I do love what you're building. I am curious about, and I don't know if anybody else would be curious about, like, where did Give and Grow? How did you come up with Give and Grow? I mean, it ties in with everything you're talking about, but maybe you can say, is there any more
Yeah.
significance to Give and Grow?
Yeah, I mean, the Give and Go was
Yeah.
something that came to mind, and I was like, man, and so I had like this, I was creating like a word web, if that's what it's called, where I was like, I want to like help people, and like I put the like main like values in the middle, and then I just started branching off one day in the basement on a whiteboard, and it was like, oh my gosh, Give and Grow. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's it
that's
right
it.
there. Like, that's it. Like, it's perfect. It's basketball. It speaks to the mission. It speaks to exactly what we're trying to do. And initially our kind of tagline was, we give, you grow. Like, we're going to give to
Yeah,
you and you're going to grow. But we shifted that. Me and my executive director, Ryan McFarland, he's our head basketball skills trainer with Give and Grow. We were like, man, it makes so much more sense to have it be all together. Like,
yeah,
we give and we grow.
yeah,
And so that's kind of what we've transformed into over the past couple of years, is that more like, man, the more we give to people, the more we as an organization are going to grow, the more they're going to grow. The better we're going to feel when we give back. So it really does speak to all that we're about, which I'm
yeah.
super thankful for.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I love what you guys have at your core right now, and it's funny. It's like some of the similar growing pains we've had, but at the heart of it all, it's about the kids, it's about the community, and like you said, it's all the way up through, because I can't explain how many times the kids have been able to help me grow and impact
Mm-hmm.
me, and we're Du Bois dream, and it's all about dreaming big, but it's little step by step. So I'm going to start getting into more of the mindfulness side of things, because one of the things you had told me, again, like kind of off the recording, was just like, I love your saying, be where your feet are. Right? Did I
Mm-hmm.
get that? I got that right, didn't I?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, yeah.
exactly.
Maybe you can explain that a little bit, because I love the mindfulness side of it in basketball, that doesn't just translate to sports, but it's outside of it too.
Totally, totally. And that's the reason why I really wanted to combine the two,
Mhm.
these mindfulness and emotional management skills with basketball, because not everybody's going to make it to college to play. Not everybody's even going to make their high school team, let alone the pros, right? So what are these skills that we can really give people when they're young, and just even encourage, like, what just encourage them to do more of, because with kids, most of the time they're always present. They're usually present, and then we start having traumas that make us feel afraid, or make us have to start thinking about the
Yeah,
future, and then we start feeling anxious, or we were judged before in the past when we decided to dribble the ball, like we dribbled the ball off our knee in a game, so let me like avoid that. And so we start having all these mental and emotional blocks that start building up in our body. So really the reason I wanted to get in with these kindergarten to fifth graders is because if we get in with them early enough, we can just encourage them to continue to be present like they have been, and they won't have all these blockages,
yeah,
that are staring them in the face. So be where your feet are is a real simple way. We took Graham Betchart is the mental skills trainer, used to be for the Utah Jazz, trains Aaron Gordon, Jaylen Brown, Ben Simmons, and he was a guy that was real influential in our curriculum, and he taught us about be where your feet are. And really, it's just a simple way to say to a kid or to an adult, even,
yeah,
be present. Your feet aren't in the future. Your feet aren't in the past. Your feet are right here, right now. Right. And that's the best place to be. That's where you're going to perform at your best, because you're putting all of your energy into the present moment. You're not thinking about what may happen in the future or what mistakes you potentially made in the past. Everything's on like this play right here, right now. And so there are a handful of other like just simple sayings like win, what's important now, asking yourself that question, right? And that's not something in the past. That's not something in the future. That's not something your teammates doing or the referee is doing or the fans are doing. It's all something that's in your control right here in the present moment. And those little reminders that we build our drills around, are really making an impact with kids, especially right now in the quarantine, where it's super easy to think about the future and like what it's going to be like. Am I not going to be able to see my friends, or when is this quarantine going to end? Or like, man, I wish this wasn't happening because what was going on in my life beforehand was just amazing. I loved being around my friends. You're not thinking about the future and the past anymore. You're thinking about, all right, what can I do right now to get better and grow?
Yeah, and that's amazing. That's awesome advice, because I like how cool it is. And I mentioned to you about how that ties in right directly with what Coach Stuart Smith had talked about on a previous interview, just about the one step at a time. You talked about Will Smith, brick by brick. But what I've been noticing is a lot of the great ones, the thing that sets them apart is they're able to be in the moment, and they're able to then push forward from building off those blocks. And the Kobe always sticks with me, because Kobe talked about when he was younger, and I love that you're working with the youth and trying to build, put these little foundational points in their head that it's being ingrained early, that it's not the negative, it's not the future stuff, it's right now. But Kobe talked about how he didn't score a point in one of his leagues. He's like, I didn't get lucky with a free throw, didn't chuck up a layup, didn't make it, nothing. But I think what helped him out was his dad, and it's good to have someone, an authority figure, say, did you have fun out there? Like, how, it's okay. I'm proud of you either way. It was,
that was huge. I remember Kobe saying that specifically, like unconditional love. It's not based on the outcome, right, or the result. It's just based on like, did you have fun? I'm going to love you either way if you make a mistake. And that's another lesson right there, is like making mistakes is just an opportunity to grow and learn, right? And as adults and as parents and as coaches, we get to be really mindful of that, because a lot of us have our own stuff, our own traumas, our own blockages that are blocking us from making mistakes today. And that is being taught, whether we're directly teaching it or not. Probably not directly, because nobody's going to directly just say to a kid, avoid mistakes at all costs. They're going to say, yeah, make mistakes is an opportunity to grow. But really, they might be acting from a place of, I don't want to make mistakes because last time I got laughed at.
Yeah, and that's I want to bring this up because I did see this in for yours, which was really putting yourself out there. Mistake, and it's easier said than done a lot of times with failure. It's like really having that confidence in yourself to put yourself out there time and time again, because even simple interviews like this, like I appreciate you coming on. You don't know what's going to happen, like who's going to watch this, but I know in the end, if it impacts one person, that's a good thing, and I really want this mindfulness to get out there. But when I saw you do that video where did you walk into a restaurant and you gotta tell me about that one, because that's right there. That's being where your feet are. So you gotta talk about that with me.
Very scary. So I was in in California over the summer. I did. Hold on. All right. Sorry, I had to. Technical difficulties here. So over the summer, about a year ago, not this past summer, the summer before, I was out in California and did a leadership retreat. And a big part of it was all about, getting out of your comfort zone and expanding beyond that. And really by doing that, by facing fears and things of that nature, we can create, we can retrain our body to be calm in those moments where nerves and fear and anxiety come on, right? So a big piece of that were these comfort challenges. So this was even afterwards. I just saw one of the girls from the group decided to do this as a challenge for herself. I'm like, man, I would be so scared to do that. So I'm going to do it. So I decided to like find a restaurant. I went into 2 Starbucks before I went into that restaurant because I was so scared to do it. So I was like, all right, I'm going in. I'm gonna go in. announce that, hey, everybody, my name is Ben Cecchini. I have a song to sing for you guys. And then I was just going to start singing a song in the middle of this random restaurant. And the butterflies were there. I was scared as hell. It was just so nerve wracking. I'm sweating. All these fear-based thoughts are going on in my head. But what mindfulness really teaches, and one of the things that we teach the kids in our basketball programs, is this idea of next play speed, right? And next play speed is all about, okay, not thinking about the past, right? Not focusing on a mistake that you made or any of these fears that may have happened in the past, right? But focusing on this next play right here, right now, this next play, boom, recovering from a mistake and getting here. So my whole mindset during that challenge was like, all right, get out of the fears that have come up from you doing performances in the past and forgetting stuff, or you being embarrassed in the past. Just be right here, right now. Focus on the breath, use the breath to calm myself down, which is a huge skill that we teach also during our classes with our MVP at the end. And just be present. Let those fears and feelings be there, but don't attach to them. They're just a reaction from the body, right? I didn't need to identify with them in that moment and be like, I'm scared, I'm afraid, I'm anxious. No, it's just like, oh, I'm experiencing fear right now.
Yeah.
I'm experiencing anger, right? Or anxiety right now. Yeah. And that's what we teach our kids. Like, instead of saying I'm feeling, or I am anxious, scared, frustrated, happy, whatever the feeling is, I'm experiencing fear, anger, frustration, right? Because it separates us from the feeling itself. And then from there, we can really move on in a powerful way because we're not identifying with that feeling that's holding us back.
Yeah, and that's good stuff, because I'm really trying to throw myself into this too. Obviously, not the extent you are. I'm learning, just so much, just going back and forth. Because I mean, maybe I'll end up doing that at some point in Du Bois, where I just get out there. But I know you're a Will Smith fan, but he talks about the difference between fear and danger. Danger it's real. Fear isn't real. But it's amazing to hear these people talk just about different things. It's just like, our bodies are meant to protect us. Our minds are meant to protect us. Like, that's why we survive life. Like, it's just like, if something's out of your comfort zone, like your body's going to try and stop you. But it's like, I like that you keep, taking those steps forward, like from Under Armour on, like, even football starting on, like you make those steps into your passions. And I know you're now getting into the speaking engagements, and I love speaking in our community too. But like, maybe you can tell me a little bit. I know it's somewhat separate from Give and Grow, but I also want to give you a shout out because, you got this passion that just exudes. I'm sure the kids love, hearing you speak. I don't know if you have certain points you usually hit on in your speaking engagements, and maybe we can get you out there, maybe a little shout out for you too.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, the big thing that I hit on with kids in the talks that I've given, I just started doing like official talks back in February, right before the whole quarantine started. I went on a cross-country tour, and I hit about 6 cities and did talks in all of them, and it was amazing. And the main point that I feel like the kids really understand, and that I really love teaching, is expressing emotion, not bottling it up. Because I know as a 6th grade kid, I'm on a basketball court, and I'm totally passionate, all about winning the game. I'm totally in it. And I used to get super frustrated on the court, and I would get technicals. And I remember coming home after the games, like getting yelled at in the car, not like super bad in the car. They actually kind of kept it low key in the car. But then when I got home, it's like, Ben, you're not allowed to do that. Go to your room. And I had extremely loving parents. Like, they were always there for me, supporting me. But they basically were teaching me in those moments that like anger and frustration was bad. Like, don't express your anger and frustration. And so what did I start doing from then on? I started bottling it up. And then I would blow up in these moments where I didn't want to blow up at all. So I teach the kids to express their emotions. And the metaphor that I use is, it's like a beach ball. And every kid has taken a beach ball and tried to shove it underwater. They try to lay on it. What happens every single time? Like, it blows up, and like, no matter what you try to do, it's going to come out, it's going to shoot up. And the further you push it down, the higher it shoots back up. right? And it's the same thing with our emotions. If we push down our emotions and suppress them, like they're just going to explode out at the wrong time. They're going to be there living in our body. It's kind of like, you're just sweeping it under the rug. It's still going to be there. But through expression, we can free ourselves from those and literally release it. Like speaking out that, I'm experiencing anger right now. Like that is a release in some forms of that emotion, because it's literally
Yeah.
coming out of my body through my voice right now.
Yeah.
So that's one of the main things I try to teach the kids, but it's all the same stuff. It's all about being present, being where your feet are. That's how you're going to be the best version of yourself in all situations, and identifying, accepting, and managing emotions.
Yeah. So you got to talk to me through this a little bit more because I'm really curious about it. So you talk about, being angry, especially in sports, because I like this that you're talking about your previous experience, like getting angry, speaking it out. Then what do you do? Because a lot of times, I've heard it's like it's okay to feel that emotion. It's okay to like be angry. However, to stay there is where you mess up. To
Mm-hmm.
stay in that emotion, like how do you then take it to that next step where you turn it into a positive? Like that anger can turn into a positive, but if you're constantly playing
Totally.
angry, you're not going to do very well.
And there's different, when we were creating the curriculum for Give and Grow basketball, I got the opportunity to speak to a bunch of experts. And one of the guys was um, his focus is like anger management, but he also is a mental skills trainer for like the New Jersey Devils. And um, what he talked to me about is that there's levels to it. You can go too far into the red zone,
Yep.
right? Which would be like too angry. And that's where you're no longer using your anger as to make you stronger, faster, better. It's running the show.
Yeah.
And so it is that level of management, recognizing when you're going too far one way or the other, whether you're too low or too high. And the team I like to think about a lot in this space in the basketball world is the Spurs. Like
Yeah.
they're just like this even keel kind of team, and they perform really, really well because they're in that sweet spot
Yep.
of like no reaction pretty much. So I think the big piece in what you were talking about, um, of like being able to use it but not stay there too long, I think that's all about identifying with it. Are
Okay.
you identifying with that emotion? Because when you identify it, you're blocking that emotion from wanting to flow through. I love this saying that our emotions are occurring in the present moment, like they're occurring right now, and they're occurrent. They want to flow through. So right now, okay, I'm in a basketball game. I'm experiencing anger right now, right? If I'm like, I'm angry, I'm pissed, like I'm ready to
Mhm.
tee off, like I'm attaching to that feeling
Yeah.
versus letting it flow through. Like, all right, like I'm angry right now, and that's okay. Like I'm experiencing anger right now, and that's okay. That is a much less attached approach to recognizing that emotion, which is allowing that emotion to kind of flow through. So 1 second I can be angry that the ref just blew the whistle, but the very next second, boom, I can
Yep.
bounce back into the present moment. And once again, be where my feet are and put all my energy and effort into the play that's happening right now. And once again, that's next play speed, going from, all right, I'm angry and frustrated at this call the ref just made or the move that the player just made on me. Boom. Now I'm right back here to the present moment.
Awesome.
And for everybody watching like The Last Dance, there's this
Yeah.
one highlight of Michael Jordan where he like goes down, he's going up to get a layup, he gets the ball stripped, he runs back on defense, he's involved in a steal, then he gets the outlet pass, runs down and gets a dunk.
Yep.
And like that's what next play speed is. It's your ability to go from like a failure or the last play to the next play to the next play to the next play.
I love that, and I'm glad you brought up The Last Dance because there's so much to learn from it. Because even with
Yes.
Jordan, but everybody surrounding him too, it seemed like. And the thing I loved about Phil Jackson was he was allowing people to be themselves. And it's funny they let Rodman be himself, let him go on. I don't know if
Yeah.
his vacation should have lasted that long, but you can see once they let him go, he came back. They let him feel what he was feeling.
Exactly. And that's
But
what
he
it's
had
all
to
about.
come back too, though,
Yes.
because that was the other part of it. Was if he would have stayed there, it would have been bad. But now he came back and he was more focused. Talking about him
Exactly.
outrunning everybody after taking that vacation is unreal, but that's what he needed. So
Yeah, exactly. And I love the word that you use there. It's a big word in the personal development communities that I've been involved in and I've learned from is allowing.
hmm,
Allowing whatever is present to be present,
hmm,
right? When we start to, especially in this quarantine, right? I'm feeling lonely
yeah,
because I'm not allowed to be around any of my friends
Yeah.
in face to face, right? So if I'm like, I don't want to be lonely, I don't want to be lonely, I don't want to be lonely, I'm still focusing on being lonely, and I'm just not allowing, once again, I'm attaching to it and not allowing it to flow
Yeah.
through, which is keeping it stuck in this place of loneliness versus like, I'm experiencing loneliness and that's okay.
Mm.
That's allowing loneliness to be there.
Mm.
And really, once you get really good, and I went on a 10-day silent meditation retreat where for
Wow.
11 hours a day I was just meditating. So 110 hours of meditation in 10 days, it was unreal. But
Ooh.
what I got to experience there is you can just sit with these emotions, or I'll use an itch as an example, because we would do these hour-long sits where you weren't allowed to move at all, right? Your legs would start feeling a little sore because you're sitting Indian
Yeah.
style and you're 6'3" and have tight hips. So
Yep.
it's like, this is not what I'm supposed to do right now, right? Or you would get an itch on your face, and you get an itch on your face, and what do you do when you get an itch? Probably without even knowing it, you go and you
Yeah.
itch
Yeah.
the itch, right? So the goal here was just allowing the itch sensation to be there without itching it. And
Wow.
what you got to realize was that the itch came and the itch went. And so nothing is permanent, right? That feeling of loneliness isn't permanent. It's going to go away at some point. Maybe it's going to go away in the next minute, hour, like day, but it's going to go away. And the better you are at just sitting with it and allowing it to be there, the faster it goes through.
Man, I'm glad you addressed that because that's key, especially during this time. Is like,
Mm.
you know, you it causes you to just get in this downward spiral, and that's what I love about mental health is like, what path do you lead it on? Like, it's amazing what you can control with your mind, but also you can't control some of this. You can't control some of the stuff that comes in, but you can control what comes out. So
Exactly.
it's what you do with that. So I mean, this is huge stuff, and relating it in even to sports. Just being where your feet are, and living in the moment. What are you using it for? I mean, you provide so many good like little tidbits here, and I don't know if you have like certain things, because I'm starting to get into meditation as well, allowing
Nice.
just the thoughts to run through. I mean, when you're sitting in your house on your own, you're just kind of like, what am I going to do? You got to live with those thoughts. So it's how you turn them into positives. But it's, as far as the meditation goes, I don't know. I'm speaking from experience. I don't know if I really enjoyed it right before a game, but I have been learning more about Wim Hof. I don't know if you like Wim Hof or not.
Oh my
I'm,
goodness. You're
I'm
up
trying
in
to.
my alley right now, my guy.
I figured you'd be right on with this because I'm trying to do the cold shower stuff too now too, which
I did
is,
it for a year.
but you just start breathing through it. Is it? I
Hmm.
think I may be more in like the breathing mentality of stuff. But like as far as meditation goes, is breathing meditation. Maybe you can talk me through some of that. I'm not
Yeah. So
I'm not up on that.
Yeah, so first I started, along with doing the kindergarten to fifth grade school assemblies.
Yep.
Um, I started doing these like teen workshops, and I did one with the W&J men's team.
Yep.
And what I did was I showed guys like Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Jennifer Lopez, like Alicia Keys, LeBron, Kobe, like all these people talking about their meditation practice,
Yep.
why they do it and how they do it. And the cool thing is everybody does it differently.
Yep.
They do it at different times. Like Kendrick Lamar does it every day. J. Cole does it before a performance.
Mhm.
LeBron, everybody saw that
In
clip
the
of him
moment.
doing
Yeah.
it on the bench,
Yep.
right in the moment. And now he's whatever, a guy, ambassador for the Calm app,
Mm.
right? Everybody does it in their own way. So really, you can take anything and turn it into a meditative
Mm.
experience,
Yeah.
right? And a guy, I was actually doing one of these workshops virtually last week, and a guy popped on there, and he's a yoga instructor, and he was like, my definition of a meditation is any breath taken consciously. And I would even expand on that and saying that a meditation can be anything that's done consciously, right? So if I'm breathing and I'm aware that I'm
Yeah.
breathing, that can be a form of meditation. If I'm walking and I'm aware of my foot hitting the ground and where it's hitting the ground, that can be a meditation. If I'm on a basketball court dribbling a ball and I'm feeling that ball hit my hands and feeling it roll off my fingertips and hearing the bounce on the floor, like all of these things can be meditative. It really brings us into the moment. And I think that's why so many people enjoy sports and working out, because it's really
Yeah.
bringing you, it's connecting you to the present moment, which is where there's no fear of the future. There's no regret or shame of the past. You're all right here, right now. So if you've experienced like that, being like in the zone and blocking everything else out, like you've experienced a meditative state before.
And I'm glad you brought it up that way because it makes it more doable in my eyes, because I know a lot of people think of meditation and it's like, I gotta sit in my room, lights off, sit there, can't scratch.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
can't
you,
scratch.
yeah, can't scratch anything at that point. Can't, really focus. But I really like that you pointed it out that way. That it's basically you could be doing anything, just being present in a sense is meditation. And I love when you brought up people in the zone, because that makes so much sense, because you're right there in the moment. Everything just kind of clears out and you're just so focused. And I think that would help a lot of people at the free throw line too. It's just in general, like you just being there, throughout the entire game. So that's huge, Ben. And I mean, so many good things here. I'm excited for what you got in the future, because I am curious. I always like to ask people, where do you see Give and Grow? Where do you see yourself? Speaking engagements. I know you got some big goals, big dreams. Maybe you can talk me through like future plans, future steps.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that you shared like your kind of like tagline for the dream, like dream big,
Yep.
dreaming big, right? Like I love that because I'm a big believer in that vision for the future. I feel like the quarantine has really opened um, our eyes as an organization to the ability to impact kids worldwide,
Mhm.
and be ourselves while we're doing it. Me and my partner Ryan McFarland, like we feel like we're entertainers, and at the same time we have things to educate kids on, and we have a fun way of doing it through basketball.
Yep.
And so we feel like this is like the perfect combination of things to really grow virtually and impact people across the world with these basketball classes that we've been doing. So our vision is just to continue to grow, continue to give and grow, really, like being cliche as all of as ever, but really just how can we impact people in a way that fits our lifestyle. Ryan's about to have a baby, so things are going to change for
Right.
him.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen this week. um, but yeah, that's the vision, just like continuing to create a lifestyle that fits around this business and make an impact while we're doing it.
Yeah. I mean, I love that. I see nothing but like big things for your future, just because like you have the passion, and I know you're working on it. That's the other thing. Like we always talk about big dreams, but it's like putting in the work with it too. Like you're
Yeah.
really taking advantage of this time. We've talked about it as a group, like within our dream group too. It's like this is kind of separation time. Like,
Mhm.
it's separation time for a lot of people, because are you going to live in this moment and not take advantage
Yeah.
of it? Or are you going to try and that's everyday life too. But I'm really excited to see where you guys head up. So, and head in the future, because I want to team up with you guys, and I'm hoping we can
Yeah.
get you on one of our virtual sessions, talk about the mindfulness side, kind of incorporate it. So I'll let you give kind of your shout outs. Maybe you can talk about your Instagram. Was it Bend the Bridge, right?
Yep. Yep.
And then your website and stuff like that, and then even your speaking engagements, because like Ben, I mean, I got nothing but love and support for you. It's really cool that you
Thank
came from
you, man.
W&J, and just our similarities. So I'll let you kind of
Yeah,
give your
for
shout
real.
outs if you want, just so everyone
Yeah,
can
well,
follow.
man, I appreciate it, Albert. I mean, it's been a blast to be on this call. Obviously, like any chance I get to talk about this stuff, I love it because,
Mhm.
um, like you said earlier, even if we can get one person to hop on a virtual class or to sign me up to come speak to a organization or whatever it is, just watch this video and gain something from the clip, like that's a win. That's giving, that's growing right there. So yeah, on Instagram, I'm at ben.the.bridge. My website will be coming soon for the speaking engagements, benthebridge.com. And Give and Grow Basketball is already up and running. So that's give, the letter N, growbasketball.org. And we're on Facebook with Give and Grow Basketball, at Give and Grow Basketball. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But I want to just also say, like, if anybody listening like is struggling or anything right now with anything that's going on, and you want some resources or you want to have a conversation, please DM me on Instagram or Facebook. Facebook, it's Ben Cecchini, which is kind of hard to spell, but you should have it right here in your little screen.
Yeah, we'll
Um,
put your name in. Yeah.
yeah, seriously. But yeah, I'm here to help. I'm here to help. So thank you once again for giving me this opportunity, Albert.
Yeah,
Appreciate you,
no
man.
problem. I mean, it's been great talking and catching up, and we'll kind of end this segment now, and on a high note. And we always talk about dreaming big and keep giving and growing, Ben. You're doing an
You
awesome job.
already know. You already know. All right,
All right,
Albert.
all
Take
right, take
care,
care.
buddy.